Welcome to this week's episode of Give It a Year. My name is Jenny Q, and this is my podcast diary. Today's episode is called the My Woo Woo episode. And today I'm sharing. I'm sharing from my heart and deep within my soul. And what I'm sharing is that I am feeling a little bit deflated, and I'm feeling a little bit lost, and I am feeling quite small, actually. So before I continue that, I just want to remind everyone I have 4 podcast promises. They're in the write-up. They're down below. If you have any questions about that, please reach out. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward format here. It's a diary, and every week I come in and I share thoughts, ideas, and sometimes something creative like a poem or a short story. And this week, it is a share. It's a reflection, and it's some ideas. So with that, let's continue on with what I was saying. So, as I stated in the beginning, today I am feeling deflated, I'm feeling lost, I'm feeling small. I feel like what I am doing does not matter, and that my voice in my podcast, in this world of hundreds of platforms and different posts and different algorithms, how will I ever be heard? That is the question I've been asking myself this week. So, this is what I came up with. Here are some answers. The reason I'm feeling lost, partly, is because in our world, it is very fast-paced. High technology, there's a lot of big money, there's a lot of corrupt government, there's bad government, there's conspiracy theories that are being tossed around, there's all sorts of protests, there's discrimination, there's DEI, there's transgender this, and there's feminism that, and it's just all around us. And on top of that, there's people doing crazy TikTok things where they have to jump out of things and doing dance moves, and I don't know. It's just all very fast, very crazy. And how does my woo-woo fit in? So before I get too deep into everything, let me define what I mean by woo-woo. What I mean by woo-woo is when you have something you want to share, and the people that are listening to you likely will dismiss the idea, the belief, the practice, something that may be mystical or spiritual or important to you, and they'll say, oh, that's woo-woo, you're crazy. That's woo-woo, don't even bother talking to me about that, right? So my woo-woo is that the world needs communication, good communication, proper communication. The world needs creativity, and it needs community. The world needs to quiet down. It needs to calm down, and we need to have connection, creativity, and community without technology. We need time with each other. We need time with each other without our phones, without video games, without being entertained at a concert, without sitting in front of a TV, without music blaring in the background. That is my woo-woo. The world needs connection, community, and creativity. And here are some of my specific examples from my personal woo-woo list. And I'm going to expand a little bit on these. So my first woo-woo thing is that I know hugs matter, and that falls under connection. I know that hugs matter because they have changed horrible days for me into wonderful days. Hugs are those things that are universal. I don't care where you go in the world. If some little child falls and gets hurt, or even someone older gets hurt, what is one of the first things people do? They go up, they put their arms around someone, and they hold them. And they tell them it's okay, or you'll be okay. Let me just help out, right? Like, hugs are so important. And I am not talking about those silly things where people, they put their arms around you, but they don't actually touch you because they're scared of touching you. Excuse me. I'm talking about a real hug where arms fully get wrapped around and you get caught up in someone's hair because you're so close. Hugs where you can feel the heartbeat of the other person if they're having a bad day. And I feel like physical touch has been slowly eroded from our world, especially during COVID time, where you had to be 6 feet apart and you couldn't touch anyone and you had to wear masks and, it was just all these things. And now kids, they're like, oh, fist bump, elbows, let's, touch elbows, let's do a fist bump, high five, but don't hug. And I think this is causing problems. Again, this is my woo-woo, so I don't have anything to back it. This is my belief. One of my other woo-woo beliefs is that I know pain is necessary because it is your guide, it is your teacher, and it is something that ties community together. I'm not saying a whole community has to have pain, but if there's someone who's struggling or is going through something, when you have a good community, that person will be supported, and that'll allow them to have space to figure out what the pain is about. And that often ties into grief. And that's another thing I believe in it, that the grief is not complete until you can smile. And I'm not saying that's going to happen right away, but pain and grief, they're your teachers, they're your guides. They're those things that carve out who you are. They're the things that maybe teach you to be empathetic, or they're those things that they could go the other way. They could teach you to be nasty and jealous and all these other things. But if you utilize it correctly and you realize that you're hurting because something very important was taken from you or you lost something, and you can shift from being sad because you lost it to the fact that it hurts because it was valuable and it meant something. And then after that stage, you go into smiling about it, because once you realize it's because it was valuable, that the person was valuable, you realize that they're not fully gone, they're a part of you. And if you let that grief and that loss help shape who you are, you can smile about it. And when you smile about it, it's a full circle experience. Again, I don't have any scientists or doctors or anything to back me. This is just my woo-woo that I'm putting out there. And I also know, my last one, and I talk about it every episode at the end when I talk about my philosophy. I know every person has something to offer in this world, and they can do it in all sorts of ways. You can do it through the conventional ways, through art or music or dance. You can make a difference by being a chef or providing service. You can make a difference by being a teacher or a politician. You can make a difference by being a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, just being a family member. You can make a difference by being a good neighbor. You can make a difference by just being you. So whoever you are, it makes a difference. And I just want to extend out and expand that my woo-woo is also identified as, anything connected with universe or God or spirit. In my life, I've experienced that when I talk about these things, people either turn away or they mock me, or on the odd occasion they're like, yes, come to my church and we'll talk or whatever, and so keeping that in mind, I want to bring this back to what I said initially. With all this on my woo-woo list, it is incredible for me to share that I am feeling lost, and I am feeling deflated, and I am feeling invisible, and I'm feeling small. And that is part of the reason why I'm here to complete this episode today, is because I was very close to not completing it, because I'm like, well, why bother? No one's listening. I don't get very many numbers. I think I have 3 people who follow me. And I know that from when I look at my stats, people listen for about 5-10 seconds or maybe a minute, and then they move on. So they don't even get to the good stuff, and maybe it's because what I'm saying isn't good, but I know it's good. And And then I realized, what I create, even despite being good, because I do think some of the stuff I put out is really good, it doesn't matter because there's such a vast sea of fast-paced, sensational, shocking, and scary posts that get clicked on all the time because it keeps people heightened and they're scared and they're fear and they're curious and they can't turn away from all of this craziness in the world. And so my little quiet podcast, my little quiet voice will not be heard. So I am very close to wrapping this up, and I'm going to say, so my woohoo, in the sense of my universe, my connection with God, with spirit, they told me to hit record today. And it wasn't because for the algorithm. And my woohoo told me that I need to do this for you. And if you're on the other side of the speaker and you're hearing these words, don't think it's crazy, because I believe in this stuff. So I made this episode for you because you are possibly that one person who might listen, and you might hear from me that you're not crazy, that you matter, and that I'm also here to lead by example and to show you it can be done. When you feel like crap and you feel invisible and you feel unseen, don't let it stop you from showing up. And that's why I'm here. I'm here so you can hear my words, and I'm here also to show by example. I have no idea how many people will ever hear this episode or if it'll make a difference. I won't ever know. But I know it won't make a difference if I don't try. So, that's it. That is my woohoo episode. I guess I warned you I was going to get emotional. I didn't get emotional, did I? I guess I'm more passionate tonight than anything. So I am going to finish up with my question for you guys. And then after the question, I usually kind of leave it, but I am going to have a little bit of commentary after it. And so my question to you to take away and think about, especially if you're just that one person who's listening, do you have a woo-woo list? Sorry, my music got very loud. Let me bring that down. There we go. Do you have a woo-woo list of items that you keep to yourself because you're worried that people are going to dismiss it and that they're right and that they don't matter? If you have a woo-woo list, like I have a woo-woo list, don't be scared to try and put it out there and share, because as I finish this episode tonight and as I'm wrapping up, the answer is what's making me feel so small. There is a vast sea of insanity out there in the cyber world. There is lots out there. So why not add to it? Maybe this podcast will somehow be that little shimmering thing in the vast sea of chaos where people go, hey, that's a little different. I feel better listening to this than the cop taking down the drunk driver who killed 3 people, right? Like, it's all possible. It's all good. And maybe your woohoo is something that will help someone else. And I really hope that my woo-woo helps you. And a random thought that just popped into my head, didn't script this at all, just popping into my head. Remember that woo-woo isn't necessarily a bad thing. When you get excited, I mean, most people will say woohoo, but you could be like, woo-woo, this is awesome, or woo-woo, life is great. So, it's context and it's how you see it. And as I wrap up, I am very happy I did this. I feel accomplished. I feel good. And so I'm just going to wrap up. I'm not going to do a lot of talk about my philosophy. I'm just going to remind you, like I said, my last woo-woo item is that everybody matters in this world. No matter who you are, no matter how small, insignificant, bad, ashamed, whoever you are, you all matter. And you do 3 things in this world that can change the lives of yourself and the people around you. You can share your smile, You can share your love or your kindness, and you can share your laughter. And I talk about that all the time. So I'm not going to do that right now. If you stuck with me through this really short, brief episode today, thank you. If my woo-woo episode did hit you, please do leave me a message. I would love to know. Because, as I said, I personally am feeling very small, unimportant, and unseen today. But it would be really cool to know if even just one person sat and listened to my entire episode. Even if it didn't help you, just let me know you listened. You doing that would make my day amazing. It's a little bit selfish, but that's okay. Anyway, have a great week, and I will be back next Tuesday to share something. Not sure what yet. Take care, and know you matter, and that's not woo-woo. I promise.